Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I'm wanting to touch base with you. I've had many people calls and messages asking what I'm talking about starching on fabrics. And so I want to touch base with everyone before Tuesday, before we get ready to start the Sampler Weekly Block Adventure. I have laid out here my different fabrics that I have chosen. I can tell you that several people have been in today to purchase their fabrics, and several people are going with this line. At the moment, I am currently out of the white fabric that I used, and I do have an order placed on that, just to let you know. If anyone is interested, and we're not really going to be using the white for a couple of blocks, so it's not mandatory for that to be a color that you're going to have, but if you're interested in it, just to let you know that I do have that coming in. I wanted to let you know this is the starch that I use, and I get this at Walmart. And I think it's like $2.97. And when I mix it, I usually will do a part for part. So what that means is I will, if I'm doing 2-part water, I'm doing 2-part of the starch. And that gives about a medium texture for your fabrics. And the reasoning for doing your starching is it makes things a whole lot easier when you go to start doing piecing work, which is what we're doing in our weekly block. So it makes it just a little bit firmer than say if you have just regular fabric that's just kind of floppy, okay? And then you've got this that's standing out, and you got this that's just kind of laying down. And then when you're getting ready to do your stitching, it is a lot easier and smoother, and you're not having to fight with trying to keep everything lined up and together. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, I already have 2 cups of water in the pitcher, and I just get like a little tub here and pour that water in the tub, and then I'm going to take, and as I said, it was a 2 cup, so 2 cup water, 2 cup of the starch, okay? So I'm going to do, there's 1 cup, and here is 2 cups. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of stir this around a little bit, and it'll feel kind of chalky and then kind of slick. And what I did and what I normally do, if I'm doing a bunch of different fabrics, I start with my lightest fabric first, which I did my white, and then I went with my yellow, and then I did my floral piece, and then my green, and then my red. Because if you do not pre-wash these fabrics, then you will get some bleeding that will take place while you're trying to do your starching. So what I'm going to do, I have a little bit more that I grabbed because I'm going to do these for borders also. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to starch this piece, and you really need to try to lay some of this out because you want the entire piece to get saturated. And if it's folded while you are starching it, and Tim, you can come in a little closer and just to show what it looks like down here. And so when I take and I'm pulling this, then in the middle here you can see that it is still dry in there. So you want to make sure that you are really starching this well. And so I will go through, pull some of this apart just to make sure that it is all getting saturated. Let's see how that's not saturated. It's still kind of dry. So I'm going to kind of roll that in there. Now I'm not going to do a bunch of squeezing with this because that will cause a lot of wrinkles. And when you are finished, and I'm putting this in a plastic bag to take it home to hang it on my clothesline. I don't have a clothesline here, one thing I don't have. But if you can hang it like in a bathroom or like in the shower, or if you do have a clothesline, hang it out on the clothesline. If you have just want to lay it on some towels, but you will need to make sure that you flip your towels and your fabric so that it is able to dry well. So I'm just going to kind of press a little bit of this out, and then I am going to put this in the bag so that I can take it home, and I just make sure that it is very, very well saturated. Okay. And when you are hanging this, if you're hanging this in your shower, you don't have to worry about it as much. Just be careful because it will be slick when you enter your shower. But okay, I'm going to put this in my bag and take it home. Now, like in my laundry room, I need to put like a plastic down because it needs to catch so that it doesn't get all over my floor. Outside, you don't have to worry about that. And here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this green piece, and then see what I'm talking about here. See how it's still dry, and I've got it pressing it down in there, but you just really have to make sure and have to kind of work with it to make sure that you get that starch. And what happens when you have the, and see, you can even see here, see I've been pressing that in and it's still showing that it is not starched yet. So see here, so you just got to really work with it and make sure that you do this as much as possible. And you do not, like I said, I do not wring mine out. I just let it dry, let it drip dry, just the way that it is, because the more that it has the starch in there, the stiffer it's going to make it. Now, if you want it to be really stiff, you would just put straight starch and just don't do any diluting at all. If you want a slighter, maybe just like a slight stiffness to it, then you would do like 2 water to 1 cup of starch. But I always do mine, if I'm using 4 cups of water, I'm doing 4 cups of starch. And that gives you like a medium starch. And then you just double check and make sure. Like I said, when you get ready to hang this, it's going to be dripping like crazy. Let it drip. Just keep it there. Don't wring it out. Just let it drip. And then when you go to pick it up, or I should say take it off of the clothesline, it's going to be very stiff, and it acts as paper. So I have a helper back here, as you can see. And so if anyone has any questions whatsoever, make sure to contact the shop tomorrow. And you will want to, let me just say that it will be very helpful to you if you can go ahead and have these starched, have them ready. Do not iron them while they're wet. Let them just completely dry. And we will do the ironing on Tuesday when we get ready to start on our sampler block. Thank you.